me to introduce myself. My name is Earleen Scruggs. Yes, Earleen. You see, where I come from, Possum Hollow, we name the firstborn child after their daddy, boy or girl. Well, my daddy was Earl, and I was the firstborn, so I'm Earleen. You know, I have a cousin, Haroldine. Now, she's not named after her daddy. No, she's named after, there I go, washing family laundry in public. Oh, you're probably wondering what I'm doing in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. Well, I intended to come here last April, but then that's when everything went to hell in a handbasket. I mean, the shit hit, pardon me, that's my daddy Earl's language. Ladies don't use language like that. But, now here I am in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. My friends in Possum Hollow, they had a lot to say about my coming up here. One of them said, "Oh, Canada, it's cold up there. You're bound to get a blizzard." Get a blizzard? I can get a blizzard anytime I want at a Dairy Queen. And then one of the other ones said, "Canada, they don't have any indoor plumbing. All the toilets are out back." Well, that's not true. No. And then Jimmy John, he's always a funning me. He said, "All Canadians live in igloos." Well, you don't live in an igloo. No. And the folks here, they don't live in an igloo. No, they live in kind of a big new barn. But I can tell it was built where there used to be an old barn, and they moved some of the old stuff into the new barn. I mean, them saddles out in the hall, for instance, they got a lot of miles on them. This is what they call a retirement home, where I'm staying right now. A retirement home. We don't have any of them in Possum Hollow. No, when we get old and tired, we go to live with kinfolk. Who do I live with? Oh, I don't live with kin. No, there are exceptions, and I'm one of them. No, you see, I live at my McDonald's. McDonald's, quarter pounder. Pardon me? How did that happen? Well, it's a long story, but I got time. So pay attention, listen up. You see, my hubby, Billy Bob, and we had a big farm just outside Possum Hollow. We raised hogs and grew feed corn to feed the hogs. Oh, Billy Bob, he could raise the best hogs, won a lot of blue ribbons at state fairs. And you may not think that I'm the brightest bulb in the chandelier, but I can tell you, I have been in business since I was knee-high to a grasshopper. And I run the business side of the business, and Billy Bob, he ran the hog side. You see, I know how to save money, and I know how to invest it. Well, we had a nice big house. That's where we raised our children. Billy Bob Jr., just call him Junior, and Tammy Lee. Oh, that Junior, from the time he was just a tadpole, just a little shaver, he could take apart anything, fix it, and put it back together again. Well, he ended up with a big machine shop in Possum Hollow. Oh, yes, he was very successful, made a lot of money, which was good, because you see, he's married to Lorena Ray, and Lorena Ray, she likes to spend money. Yes, Lorena Ray, she thinks she's the Martha Stewart of Possum Hollow. Well, of course, they're both retired now. Yes, Junior, he sold the machine shop, made a lot more money, and all he does now is he plays golf and goes fishing. And Lorena Ray, still spending money. Oh, and then Tammy Lee. Now, I know that a mama shouldn't boast on her children, but Tammy Lee was special from the day she was born. Pretty, oh yes, and smart, oh, on the honor roll every report period, and that she was valedictorian of her graduating class. And talented, oh, I should smile. Yes, you see, she took singing and dancing lessons from Madame Bolden. And, you know, it was right after she graduated that Tammy Lee hightailed it up to New York City. And before we knew it, she was singing and dancing in them musicals on Broadway. Very popular. She's very popular. Well, Billy Bob and I, we went up a couple of times to New York to see her perform. Oh, it was grand, just grand. And then she married that fellow, that rich fellow from that rich family. It was in all the papers. And, oh, what is his name? Anyway, they have that big complex in New York City. The one, it has the name on it, and it has an ice pond out in front, and the tallest Christmas tree ever. Oh, what is his name? Well, he is a nice enough fella. Oh, yes. But I don't think he ever did any really hard work any time in his life. Well, of course, they's retired now, too. Oh, yes. They spend their time flitting from one opening to another closing. But I have to say this. They're very generous with their money. Give away a lot of money, mostly scholarships. Do I have any grandchildren? Oh, yes, one. Billy Bob the Third. Well, he don't like to be called Billy Bob, no. He likes to be called William. Like that prince fella across the big pond. Well, I tell you, William has everything going for him. Good looking, oh, Hollywood. And then he is smart and athletic. He won a big scholarship to go up and study at State U. Oh, yes, he was the quarterback of the football team. I don't think they ever lost a game. And you know how we love our football in the South. Well, when he graduated honors business, he stayed up in the capital, started on his own firm, investments. I tell you, William has his fingers in more pies. Well, for example, he owns 4 or 5 Ford dealerships. Oh, William, he has this Ford dealership, makes all this money, and then he is married to the sweetest little gal you'd ever want to meet. Her name is Sherry. Now, she's not from Possum Hollow. No, she's from Louisiana. And Sherry, well, she's different. Sherry, she does the yogi, and then she, well, between you and me, she's a vegetarian. We don't have any of those at Possum Hollow. You see, we like our pork, and we like our grits with white gravy. Well, there I go, off topic again. That's what Billy Bob always used to say to me, Early, you're off topic. Well, when my daddy, Earl, up and died, well, he was old and ripe. My mama, Pearlie Mae, she come to live with us. Well, not exactly with us. No, she, oh, Mama, there's a feisty little lady, independent too. First of all, she turned the home place over to my brother Bubba and his 3 sons. Now they are farmers on a large scale. And then, as I say, she came to live with us, but not with us exactly. You see, what we done was we built Mama her own little house on our property, close to us, but not too close. And then we set aside a good piece of land so she could have a big garden patch. Oh, she was as happy as a pig in mud for 10 years. She loved her little house, but oh, she did love her garden bed. Now, one day, Billy Bob and I had to go into Possum Hollow to the bank, and I said to Mama, "Oh, Mama, don't go out hoeing in your garden today. It's just too hot and humid." But you know my Mama, she never took advice from nobody. And sure enough, when we come home, there she was, face down in the dirt. Well, she was pushing 100, and she died happy. Now, it wasn't long after that Billy Bob and I noticed that Possum Hollow was sneaking out into the country. I mean, they were building houses just up the road a piece from us, and we'd have some complaints about the smell of the hogs. So one day, Billy Bob and I, we just sat down on the cool side of the veranda, and we had ourselves a good palaver. I went in and fetched some iced sweet tea and some molasses cookies just out of the oven, and we sat down and we come up with a plan for ourselves. You see, Billy Bob and I had never taken a vacation. Oh, sure, we'd been up to New York them couple of times, but you know, you can't leave hogs any longer than 2 days on their own. So this was what our plan was. First of all, Billy Bob sold off all the hogs, and then I negotiated the sale of the land. Everything but our house, and Mama's big garden patch. Yes, I sold it to Walmart. And then Billy Bob and I, we just took off. You see, Billy Bob and I, we loved homegrown music, and so we just hitched the fifth wheel to the pickup, and off we went to every festival and concert from Arkansas all the way down to Louisiana. Oh, it was wonderful. It was grand, just riding along in the pickup, sitting next to Billy Bob, singing along with Willie Nelson on the radio. On the road again. Oh, yes, it was grand. Well, the last concert we went to was Dolly Parton. You know, at her place, Dollywood in the Tennessee mountains. You see, Billy Bob had always had kind of a thing for Dolly Parton. And I tell you, it was a wonderful concert. You know, Dolly Parton is just a little tiny little thing. Well, she does have big hair, and so we enjoyed that concert because Dolly Parton, I mean, the way she can sing, she must have broken a lot of hearts in her day. But I don't blame Dolly for what happened. No, it was not Dolly's fault. You see, Billy Bob and I, we come out of the concert a laughing and a smiling and a holding hands. And then suddenly, Billy Bob, he just keeled over, face down, a heart attack, dead. Well, he had seen Dolly Parton. He died happy. And you know, I just have to go along with that Italian fella, that Roman fella, that Marcus Aurelius. He said that when death smiles at you, all you can do is smile back. So that's what I done. And I went on home and I rattled around in my big house. Oh, I kept busy. Yes, I did a lot of volunteer work and sang in the church choir. And I went on trips with the choir. But you know, it wasn't the same. Going down the road in the church bus singing hymns, it wasn't the same as going down the road in the pickup, sitting next to Billy Bob and singing along with Willie. And then there was the incident. What? You haven't heard about it? Oh, I thought the whole world knew about it. Well, I'll tell you. It went like this. You see, I was hard boiling some eggs to make deviled eggs for the church picnic. And I put the pan into the sink, and I was running cold water over those eggs, makes them easier to peel. And the phone rang in the other room, so I went to answer it. And wouldn't you know, it was Lorena Ray going on and on and on about painting her living room purple, as if I cared. I can tell you that the only contribution from me to that conversation was, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Well, finally, she ran out of gas, and I come out to the kitchen and, jumping Jehoshaphat, it was flooded. There was a foot of water all over the kitchen floor. I had to have the whole floor replaced. Well, something like that is big news in a small town. And sure enough, Junior heard all about it. And then he got in touch with Tammy Lee up in New York. And then, well, I think they thought I'd lost my marbles. And they come to visit me. It was like something from Dr. Phil, an intervention. And it was strongly suggested that I go up to New York City and live with Tammy Lee and what's his name. So I said to my children, oh, thank you so much. Oh, you're so kindly toward your old mama. But you've given me a lot to think about. So give me a few days. 10 seconds. Well, things often turn out for the best, because 2 weeks later, a knock came to my door, and there stood a tall, good-looking young man in a suit, a shirt, and a tie. And he says to me, good afternoon, Miss Earleen. Oh, good afternoon, Miss Earleen, and manners, too. And he says, my name is Scott Bradley, and I'm from McDonald's. McDonald's? Oh, I have such a warm spot in my heart for McDonald's. I can remember it like yesterday, driving along in that old farm truck, and then there, by the side of the road, were these golden arches coming up, the sun shining on them. I tell you, it was almost a religious experience. So we parked the car and we went into the building. I have never seen anything so beautiful. It was all plastic, red and orange plastic. Oh, at that moment, I fell in love with McDonald's and with Billy Bob. So I just said to Scott Bradley, Scott, come on in and sit in the cool side of my veranda, and I'll fetch us some iced sweet tea, and I'll get us some molasses cookies right out of the oven. Well, by now you should know that I didn't just fall off the turnip truck when it comes to business. And so Scott and I had a really good palaver. And we came to a decision, what you call in business quid pro quo. And now what that means is that McDonald's got what they wanted and I got what I wanted. You see, what McDonald's wanted was to buy half of my mama's garden patch to build a McDonald's on. What I wanted was the franchise for that McDonald's. And so it happened because I gave McDonald's that half of Mama's garden patch, and they in turn gave me a lifelong franchise for the McDonald's. Oh, with one provision, which came from me, that my McDonald's would open at 6 in the morning and close at 10 at night. You see, I didn't want the lights from the golden arches shining in my window when I'm trying to watch TV. Well, Everyone was happy. McDonald's was happy. I was happy. And Scott, well, he was happy because he went away with a Tupperware of molasses cookies. Now, the only people that weren't happy were my children. No, they weren't happy until they saw the profits my McDonald's made. Oh, yes. You see, what I done was this. I rented out my big house. I moved into my mama's little house. That's where I sleep, change my clothes, shower, watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. Yes, well, it's much like the way people here live, except I've got a better deal than they have. Oh, I know they have an exercise program, but I have my own exercise program. You see, I'm the one who wipes off the tables. I'm the one who mops the floors. And I'm the one who washes the windows. I tell you, I've got glutes of steel and no hanging flabby bits. And I get all my meals at McDonald's. Oh. You can eat healthy at McDonald's if you have a mind to. I mean, we have all them salads and yogurt for fats. The only thing I draw the line at is that I won't drink anything green. Social life? Oh, you never know who's going to walk through the door at a McDonald's. And then I can always count on the old boys. The old boys come in every day at 10 and 2 to get their coffee. And they sit at the same table every day. They have the same conversation. First of all, they talk about all their aches and pains, and then they get on to politics. Oh, nothing current, thank heaven. No, they're still fighting the Civil War. Well, sometimes, their voices get very loud and their language can get a little salty. And I just have to go over to their table and I say, now look here, boys, this is a family restaurant. There will be no loud voices and no salty language. You want to carry on like that? You go next door to the Walmart parking lot. I went to grade school with them boys, and I don't take any of their sass. Do I still go on bus trips? Oh, no. No, I go by airplane, first class. Twice a year, I fly up to Chicago because McDonald's have their corporate headquarters just outside of Chicago, and that's where we have our franchise meetings. Oh, we have some great meetings. Well, I have been franchisee of the year for 2 years. And then they always have a giveaway, a big prize every year. And guess who won this year? Me. And the prize was a trip Europe over and back to any foreign country where McDonald's has a franchise. Huh? Well, yes. That's why I chose Canada. You didn't know that Canada was a foreign country? It certainly is where I come from, south of the Mason-Dixon line. Canada is a foreign country. And oh, what a beautiful country you have. I've seen a lot right here. I am sitting right across the street. Right across the street is a hospital. And that hospital looks like it was made out of Lego. And then down the road a piece, there is a YMCA. And at that YMCA, you wouldn't believe it, inside is a library. And in that library is a helicopter. And kids playing in and out of the helicopter. And all the people in Canada, the people, like right here, this place, they're so polite. Pardon me, excuse me, could I help you? Oh, they're wonderful. I just wish that I could return their hospitality. I could just take everybody I've met down to Possum Hollow. Oh, dumb as a mule. I could do just that. You see? What are you doing on October the 14th? Got anything happen? No? Well, tell you what you do. You pack a big lunch, and then you get down your valise or your carpet bag, and you put in 4 or 5 changes of clothes. And then you get in your vehicle, and you just head straight south, and you drive for 4 days and 4 nights, and you'll be in Possum Hollow in time for the big celebration. Oh, you don't have to worry about a place to stay, no. Because you see, right as I speak, they are changing my big house over to a B&B, and you will be my first guest on the house, of course. Huh? What's the occasion? Well, oh, you see, my birthday is coming up, and I thought to myself, I probably don't have that many years left before they start hoeing my row. And I wanted to go just like Billy Bob and my mama went, happy. And you know what makes me happy is running my McDonald's. And I have decided to expand my business empire in honor of my birthday. And as we speak, I'm getting a new franchise on what's left of my mother's garden plot. Yes, I'm getting a franchise for a Dairy Queen. Won't it be grand? I mean, you come to my McDonald's, you have a choice. You can either go to the McDonald's or you can go to the Dairy Queen. And if you go to the Dairy Queen, you can always get one of them soft cones with the curly pigtail on top. Or you might get a real blizzard. Oh, it's going to be wonderful. You'll have such a great time. Oh, one last thought. When you come down, swing by here, this retirement home, and pick up that old cranky lady that lives here, that Jacqueline. Pick her up and bring her down with you. You know, she gets down to Possum Hollow on a nice, soft autumn night. The Kincadias are singing along with the Smoky Mountain Boys, and she sinks her gums into my pulled pork and cornbread. Well, that cranky old Jacqueline, she'll never be cranky again, and neither will you. So I'll be looking for you. You'll come.